It's time to hit random card and tell you a story about it. And today we have Spite Bellows. Ooh, alright, all the way back from Lorwyn block. This card showed up in Morningtide. This uses the evoke mechanic in kind of an interesting way. So in the first set, evoke creatures, when you evoke them, they would come into play, do their thing on an enters effect, and then go away. That's how most evoke creatures are in all of Lorwyn. But Spite Bellows is a little bit different. Muldrifter comes into play if you cast it for 5 mana, and it's a 2/2 creature and you draw 2 cards. If you evoke it for 3 mana, you draw 2 cards and it goes away. But Spite Bellows, like I said, a bit different. If you play it for 6 mana to get the 6/1, you don't get the effect right away. You only get the effect right away if you evoke it. Otherwise, you have to wait till it trades in combat, and then you get to go on its effect and use it. A few things about Spite Bellows and that design. First of all, the thing that this card does that we would not do in today's world is it mandatorily deals 6 damage to target creature, which means if you play this for 6 mana and then it ends up dying when you are the only one with the creatures, you are forced to kill your own creature, which is brutal. In fact, you can even evoke this, and in response, your opponent gets sacks their creature or something, suddenly you're forced to hit your own creature. This is kind of the Flame Tongue Kavu problem. We really try to not do that these days. It just lets you accidentally eat your own stuff sometimes. Really unintuitive. But the other thing is to me about this is it's just almost trying to be a little too smart for its own good. Yeah, you can blink this, which is kind of cool, but on the whole, mostly it's well, it's a different twist on evoke. Isn't it different and weird? It's well, I agree it's weird. It just does it differently than the other cards, but why, right? Why are we doing it differently than the other cards? So, a handful of ones in Morningtide did this. Revelark, of course, famously did this as well, a much more playable card. And maybe we're doing there on a rare, but at common and uncommon, I really like having the mechanics naturally evolve into different kinds of effects, bigger effects, splashier effects, stuff that wasn't there the first time. And especially if you're going to do a block like this, it's only 2 sets, you have the design space, certainly to do Evoke. Evoke is a great mechanic, and it could totally come back at some point. I know, obviously we've seen some of the pitch elementals recently, but I'm saying come back in a much more tame term, the Muldrifters and, I don't know, Shine Winds? No, that's not an Evoke card. You know what I mean. The Briar Horns of the world, the Mornwhelks of the world. That's right, I'm pulling all these off the top of my head.